share your story with the world? Well, Snails with No Shells is where you need to be. Available on all digital platforms, Facebook, and YouTube. Snails with No Shells. Leave that shell at the door. Where did we go wrong? We were doing so. Greetings, beautiful ones. I am Miss BJ Martin, and this is Snails with No Shells. Leave that shell at the door. That is my only rule. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this evening I have an amazing guest, a returning guest actually. She's going to join me this evening, and we have so much to talk about. I'm going to bring the lovely, the beautiful Rochelle Campbell to the stage.
Yay.
Hey, Rochelle, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. It's good seeing you again.
Good seeing you as well.
Yes, and thank you for coming back. I'm always excited about my returning guests because there's so much that has happened since the last time I talked to you. So I'll just be finding out myself. I'll be happy to hear it. Like, okay. I get excited.
Right.
Yes, so Rochelle is a returning guest, and she's also she's a contributing writer to the On It magazine as well. So yeah, we're doing some things. We're busy this year. We are busy.
Very busy. Very
Yes,
busy.
yes. And so how's that coming along? Your writing for the magazine? How's that been coming along so far?
All of it's been well. I mean, I think that just putting that download from your mind into paper just helps you to move smoothly through life. It balances you mentally because you're able to, kind of talk about things that you have internally that you want to get out to help other people. So writing to me at this point is like therapeutic, very therapeutic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I just love not only just the writing for the On It magazine, but just the whole camaraderie that we have going on. It's like we're definitely like a family, unit, the On It
Right.
magazine. So yeah, I love that too, and just our meetings and everything. Y'all, if y'all want to be a contributing writer, you can reach out to me. Y'all can DM me because it's not too late. You can get in on the and be a contributing writer as well. We talk about the writing, but you can do it too. We do it. You can do it too. It's not too late. And it's like it's not just about the writing. It's the camaraderie. We have a good time. We talk about things. The last meeting that we had, we prayed for about an hour and a half. It's like it's a good networking situation as well because everybody in the group just does something different.
Right.
You got your mental health coaches, you have your pastors, you have your entrepreneurs. It's just everybody's doing.
Everybody has something totally different that they are experts in.
Yeah, and you said
And
finance.
right. Even the CEO, Marissa, is just amazing. I don't know how she does it as much as she does, but she does a lot, and she's amazing in keeping everything together. So
Yes, and I bring that up, ladies and gentlemen, because that's why we're here today. Because we met because of the opportunity to be able to come a contributing writer with the On It magazine. So it's an important staple for me and for the show. So yeah, so awesome. Okay, so Rochelle, we're gonna go back into your story a little bit for those of you who don't know Rochelle or who hasn't seen the past interviews. Um, we're gonna get into your story. This was the inspiration behind. Well, I'll just let Rochelle tell it. Rochelle.
so back in 2013 to 2015, I was actually bullied at work. And it was psychologically damaging. It was a lot that went on during that period of time. One, I didn't expect that it was going to happen, and two, I didn't even know that at an age where you're in your middle adulthood that somebody would even think about bullying you. And so going through that was like very traumatic for me. And just learning all the things I had to learn, as far as personalities and how people treat you, how bullying actually manifests not just from like one person, but several people doing what one person tells them to do.
Mhm.
The ironic thing is that as an adult, why would somebody try to bully you? Like,
Right.
why would this even happen to you in a workplace? Like, you've done what you needed to do on the application. Of course, it didn't say, hey, pick me, I want to be bullied. But throughout it all, it was I learned a lot, not only just about myself, I learned a lot about other people. And God just gave me clarity to just sit still, walk with Him, trust Him, and to get my own self off my mind. And so during that time, I did exactly that because I asked God, why me? And God,
Mhm.
in His infinite wisdom and His voice, told me, why not you? And so when He said that to me, I just had to sit back. He said, take yourself off your mind and help other people.
Mhm.
During that time, because I was sitting at home, working on my case at work, I was kind of losing my mind because at that point, I didn't have my leave had run out. I was using most of my savings on an attorney and, still trying to keep a roof over my head. People would ask me, family and friends would say, hey, do you need help with groceries, your car, your mortgage? But nobody ever asked me if I needed help with toiletry items. And so when God said, take yourself off your mind and help other people, I said, okay, let me figure out what He meant by that. And so I started a nonprofit organization in 2015 called Toiletries and Company. And so we do just that. We help individuals specifically with toiletry items for the basic, daily needs. And it has just been something that has been phenomenal, not just for myself, but for the volunteers that I have working with either package it or distribute to the community, as well as the individuals who receive it. Because
Mhm.
most people, they'll get food or they'll get coats or they'll get socks, but the basic daily needs are typically not given, solely, throughout the year.
Mhm. Mhm. Wow, that's amazing how something negative, a
Right,
negative experience turned into something amazing, something that's really life changing. Like you're really
mhm,
changing lives, being able to supply people with toiletries.
right,
That's what's up. That's how you know, like, man, that's how you know it's God, nothing but, you know what I mean?
right.
So,
It has to be nothing but God because
right.
most of the times when I set up, because I do a lot of community events and I'll set up and people like, oh my gosh, I never thought about this. This is such
Mhm.
a need that people typically don't even think about. I mean, if you think as a teenage girl who's homeless, who needs a sanitary napkin and supplies and things like that, it becomes one of those things like, wow. And not just the rising cost of things, but just the cost of toiletries, period. It's always
Mhm.
been expensive, but even now they're even more expensive. And then, of course, with germs and things like that. So it's definitely a need that's not just needed periodically for Thanksgiving and Christmas, it's needed all year round. And so
Right.
that's what our agency purports to do is to help as many people as we can throughout the year.
Okay. Nice, nice. So let's go back just a little bit with your experience with the workplace bullying.
Mhm.
So, ladies and gentlemen, it's real. It's
It's real.
real. That's a real situation. I had heard of it, but I hadn't experienced it. And just because you haven't experienced it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And I was just shocked the first time you told me, Rochelle, like you were bullied at work. I'm thinking like, what?
Right.
I didn't know adults uh, bully. Still. So I appreciate the fact that you are sharing your story because somebody else could be in the same situation
Right.
and not, they may think they're tripping, because sometimes you deal with stuff and you're like, am I tripping? And sometimes if you don't have anybody to, have those conversations with, you might really think you're tripping.
Actually, it does start out like that because
Mhm.
typically the employee who gets bullied is an employee who is an exceptional worker.
Mm-hmm.
And the exceptional worker, typically, crosses their T's, dot their I's. And when somebody says your T isn't crossing, your I isn't dotted, and they just constantly come after you, it becomes like, what's going on? Like, what are they saying? I crossed my T, I dotted my I. So now you're like over zealously doing everything to make sure that whatever work that you touch is like exceptional.
Mm-hmm.
But even with the exceptional work, they'll try to find something else.
Mm-hmm.
And each time that they do that, it just kind of pulls away from your psyche. And psychologically, you're not able to kind of get a grip. So when you talk about it to people, they're looking like, what did you do? Why are they bothering you? Did you not turn something in on time? So now you're not only defending yourself, now you're defending, like, why are they doing this to me?
Mm-hmm.
And so I went through that where you ultimately you just get silent. And so from my first anthology that I did, that was the title of it. It was called The Silent Killer Workplace Bullying. Because you don't know who to talk to. People either just want to know the story, or they like looking at you like side-eye, like, this girl is tripping.
Right.
Bothering her.
Right. And who are you that somebody want to be bullying you? Right. Right.
What do you mean bullying? Like, you're an adult. What do you mean? And so I explained to them, it's not anything where somebody like comes and punch me in my face. It's psychological. And so if you have obtained, different levels in your career, and somebody all of a sudden tells you you're not good, then you start just like second guessing yourself and like, what do you mean I'm not good? What do you mean? And so you kind of start unraveling a little bit at the seams, but you have to maintain control. If you don't, then you just unravel, and then you have different health issues and different things going on. And the good thing is that by the grace of God, my background is in counseling. So I was a therapist for several years as a consultant, and I know coping skills, right? So I know how to like manage my mental health. But even in that time, a doctor can't perform a surgery on themselves.
Right.
So I did reach out. I reached out. I went to a psychologist, a psychiatrist, and a therapist. And what I found out is that the same way that it came to me, I was bringing them news because they were just looking at me the same way. Like, what are you talking about? You're being bullied in the workplace. What did you do?
Wow.
And so I had to change the narrative and let them know, listen, I'm a victim. I had to like literally show them, here's all of my previous evaluations. She's a good worker. She's on time with her work. She does this. She does that. Da, 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 da. And this was not just like from my current agency. I don't know why I still had some of these, but it was like from agencies previous. I always had gotten awards, stellar awards, financial awards. So me introducing this to them, because I told them, I said, I'm not sure what upheaval this is about to be, but be prepared because you're going to have more people coming here.
Yes.
Why I can talk to you all is because my background is in counseling.
Right.
Other people are not going to be able to talk to you. They're going to be all over the place because I found myself at the initial start of it, like all over the place. But I did, and I could hold up. But I did do this, and I did turn that in because it gets so overwhelming. My case in particular, I had 6 managers giving me 6 different work products, work I've never seen in my life, work that was out of my job description. And so me trying to do that work on top of the work that I was assigned became very overwhelming, extremely overwhelming, and trying to meet these like unrealistic deadlines and things like that.
And that's what I was going to ask you, like for someone in the audience who could possibly being bullied at work, like what does that look like? What kind of example would you give specifically, something that they could look for when it comes to workplace bullying?
So typically it is like these little subtle, minute tasks that you're given. Like you're just started getting like a task here. Somebody else comes to you. They give you another task. And then they'll have like these deadlines. Oh, I need this by Tuesday at 12. I need this by Thursday at 1. I need this. Now, behind the scenes, they're all working together. However, you're thinking, that they're individually working, like nobody knows what's going on.
Right.
In my case, they all knew what was going on. I was put on a performance improvement plan with 6 different items, with staggering due dates, with work I've never, ever seen in my life. I'm like, I've never even seen this work. And so when they gave it to me, I explained to them, I said, well, a performance improvement plan is typically the work that you've already been working on that you have not excelled in or that you're having troubles in, not new work.
Right.
Well, no, we're going to put you on this. Okay, well, I need some guidance and training. Oh, we're not going to give you guidance or training. So how am I supposed to? Well, you just have to, kind of figure it out. On top of, if you ask anybody to help you, like they went to certain people and they threatened those individuals. They threatened them and said, we know what your work style is like. And if you help her, we're going to write you up. Yes. After I was just like flabbergasted.
What? So
just because during this time, my relationship with God had like literally strengthened, like unbelievable, like just talking to him day in and day out. I don't care what I was doing. I was like, Lord, Lord, Lord. And so he started giving me avenues for people to help me, not in my like immediate office, but outside. I had a lot of friends who worked, did certain things. So I would and I got everything done. I got everything done before the time frame. I turned in everything, and my other work was still being done. The beauty of it was I never frazzled. I never yelled. I was never unprofessional. I just did everything. I asked questions very professionally. They told me what they needed to tell me. They looked at me, I guess, to rile me up. And I just kept looking at them saying, is that it? Okay. And I would leave out the meeting, because I would literally have meetings at any given moment. My computer would just ding, meeting, bing. We need to meet with you in 5 minutes. So it's almost like the unknown, the anticipated. It was just like all over the place. And I got to a point, I said, I need a break. I just had to take a break. And that's when I did my sabbatical. And so I was off for like 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And again, like, you went through that experience but it catapulted you to a whole another level of life. And like you're really out here saving lives, because you were saying you had the experience where we were having some financial issues. And I remember you were saying that you had friends and family that was asking you, did you need help financially? But then that's how you thought about the toiletry items. Like, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, because nobody ever said, do you need laundry detergent or soap or sanitary napkins or toothpaste they just was like like your mortgage, your car note, gas, food, but nobody, or utilities. They never specifically said, hey, let me pick up some things for you at the store. I'll get you some toiletries. And so I know, so right now I've been doing different presentations in the school system and with youth about bullying. And the thing about bullying is that nobody ever targets the bully. So what happens is you're the victim who's being bullied. Come talk to me. Don't worry about it. Be strong. The bystanders who's laughing, taking pictures, or turning their head, but nobody ever addresses the bully. And so if it doesn't ever get addressed when they're young, as they grow, nobody really wants to deal with that person. And so they deal with the outer part of everything else except that person.
Right.
And so understanding that everybody has to collaborate together, because just like the bully hurts the victim, the bully is hurting as well.
Yeah.
Most people just think, oh, they're tough, they're strong, they're this. No, they have a very hard shell, because whatever's underneath, they haven't really dealt with it. And so it just kind of spills over into other people's lives.
Right.
And so during the presentations, I kind of, express to people that if you're a bystander, you have a role. If you're an administrator, a teacher, a parent, because you can't tell me that nobody comes to the teacher every day and says, Charlie's bothering me. Charlie's bothering me. Go sit down. Don't worry about it. Go sit down. But nobody ever addresses Charlie.
Right.
And so Charlie goes from second to third to fourth to adulthood, never ever being addressed about whatever he's dealing with or whatever's inside to make him, have these tendencies to bully. And so it takes everybody to come together. It's kind of late in the workplace because when you get to bystanders in the workplace, people think about their mortgages. They're not thinking about helping you or standing up and say, hey, yeah, I witnessed that. They're thinking about, I'm not saying anything because I don't want to lose my job or I don't want them targeting me. So it gets even harder to stop the bully once it gets to that level. But if we can stop it early on or address whatever that bully's issues are to get them the support, the help, the care, the love that they're missing, it will not spill over to other people.
Nice. And it makes sense. It does make sense. It makes sense. But how in the world, oh my gosh, do we not, tackle this when they're younger? All the way to adulthood. It seemed like bullying for that long would be very tiring and stressful. You would think.
Well, it's really not for the bully because it's a power trip.
My interpretation. Get your copy today.
Or is it just insanity?